Good morning, everybody. Today is February 14th, 2018. It's 9:10 in the morning, Eastern Time in the United States. So let's get on with it. Usually, I start with Bitcoin before we start. Actually, the setups that you're going to see on your screen are my own setups. I'm not a financial advisor. I am just a trader like you are. I'm just sharing my setups. So trade at your own risk, and let's get on with it. So this is the daily chart on Ethereum. I'm going to start with Ethereum. Usually I start with Bitcoin, but this time I'm going to start with Ethereum because we have a setup very close to where Ethereum is right now. So I want to start with Ethereum and Litecoin this time around. So on the daily chart, this is what I have on Ethereum. We're waiting for it for this support area last week, but it never got there like all the other ones did. But this one never got there. We have these resistance up here. So we have a lot of space here to trade with. All right. So I started going down the charts and I went all the way down to a 30-minute chart. Definitely we are in an uptrend on a 30-minute chart on Ethereum. There's no doubt about it. So we're getting a little bit of resistance here. There's a pivot up here that we're hitting, and at the same time as it's hitting that resistance, it's hitting also the oversold area, overbought area. So I am not surprised that there's a little bit of resistance there. But when we go down to a smaller time frame, like the 5-minute chart, we'll see a really nice setup here. Now this is a day trade, comes from a 5-minute chart. So by the end of the day, if the trade is still going, if we get into the trade and it's still going by the end of the day, that means by 6 o'clock tonight, I'll be out of this trade wherever it is. It is a day trade. So my entry is 865. My stop is at 850. So I am risking 15 points in this one. All right, so 15 points per coin. So if I buy 20 coins, I'm going to be risking $300. All right, I don't know what the targets are going to be at this time because I need to see the point C created. This is X, this is A, this is B, and this is C. I explain all these details of this strategy in the intermediate course of our professional trading courses. All right, so you can find all that stuff in cryptostudio.io. Anyway, we have Ethereum approaching very nicely right now. Remember, always trade with a stop. Never trade without a stop. Always have a stop. Always know where is your maximum loss that you're going to take on every trade. So in this case, we have an entry at 865 with a stop at 850. And this is a day trade. Let's move on to Litecoin. Alright, this is what we have on Litecoin. This is a 3-hour chart. That means this is a swing trade. This is a swing trade on a 3-hour chart. Also, very small risk on this one. We're going to be risking 15 points again. This is a rally-based rally. We do have targets in this one. Entry is 185, stop is 170, targets 190, 205, and 220. All right, now for the 3-hour trade, we need to look at the 12-hour trend. All right, to see how aggressive we're going to be in it. So notice that I also have a zone down here, which I'm watching very closely. This is a 7888 setup, but we're so far away from that one that I'm going to be focusing on this one. And if that one starts setting up itself, I'm going to create another video to go for it. But right now it's not set up yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to talk about this one. As far as like the trend goes on this one, this one is not as clear as the uptrend on Ethereum. This one has the indicators are showing me, two of the indicators are showing me that we have an uptrend going. We have the MACD saying it's bullish, RSI is saying it's extremely bullish, but 50 moving average is just starting to get flat here, and we finally did a double bottom. So we're looking very good in this one. It's not a smoking hot trend, but it still looks very promising. So this is a really nice setup that we have on Litecoin here. Very small risk. Stop would definitely have to be a 170. Always trade with a stop. Never trade without a stop. I cannot stress that enough. That's the #1 rule of trading. If you want to be a good trader, trade with a stop. That's the first rule. Okay, let's move on to Bitcoin. Alright, so here's what I have on Bitcoin. I have 2 trades on Bitcoin. Alright, let's start with the higher time frame with this, which is a 1 hour. Both of these are day trades. Okay, the 1 hour could be a day trade, could be a swing trade, depending how it's going. The 1 hour is my cutoff to determine if it's swing trade or day trade. So when it's a 1 hour, I always watch them very closely. Now the entry on this one is 85.20. Stops at 8,300. Targets to be determined because we don't have the C point. All right, we have the X, A, B, and we'll see when it comes back to here. But we still have the entry at 85.20. It stops at 8,300, and targets to be determined. We'll see where this goes. But if we go to a smaller time frame, all right, which is a 15-minute chart in this case. Now you saw on the 60-minute. If I'm going to be looking at the 15-minute entry, I'm going to have to look at a 60-minute trend. This trend on the 60-minute is very bullish. Okay, we got the MACD, we got the RSI, the moving average, and doing higher highs, higher lows. So we are definitely in an uptrend on a 60-minute chart. That means the 15-minute entry is an aggressive one. We definitely want to be in this trade. So on Bitcoin, the entry on the 15-minute chart will be 8860 with a stop at 8700. That means $160 off risk on this one per coin. Now remember, always use a stop, but always know for a fact how much money you can lose in one trade. If you can only afford to lose a certain amount, calculate how many fractions of a Bitcoin or how many Bitcoins you can risk in order to get into this trade. So the risk on this one is $160. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Is $160 risk on this one for as many bitcoins as I want to trade for it that matches my tolerance. Okay, so again, 8860 is the entry, 8700 is the stop. That is the day trade, definitely a day trade because it's a 15-minute chart on Bitcoin. Now let's before finishing the video, let's review the trades from last week, from the videos from last week. Okay, we have Neo, which we had a really beautiful entry. We went back to the origin of the move. It was a perfect 78.88 setup. Came back to 66, and that's where our entry was. It actually went to the somewhere in the 50 area. But 66 was our entry, as we mentioned it last week before we got there. And right now we're just waiting for target 1. Notice that in this one we do have the hard targets because we have the C point created. This is the X, A, B, C point, and then we'll be watching for target 1 at 146 and target 2 at 182. And let's go finally to Dash. This is a beautiful trade that we took last week. This is origin of the move, not a 78.88. Origin of the move, just like the one on Litecoin that we can put hard targets right away. So we have 3 targets on this one. Our entry was at 411. It went down to 390 or something like that. But the stop was, at that moment, the stop was at 210. So we were risking $201 per coin. Okay. If we already hit target 1, we got the stop for the remaining ones at break even. So the worst that can happen, it's a winning trade. It's already a winning trade because we already hit target 1. So target 1 was 612, target 2 is 795, and target 3 is going to be at 1014. Those are targets on Dash. This was another trade setup that we talked about last week, and we got in. And I know a lot of people took this one, so this was a beautiful trade. Okay, let's go to watch one more trade setup, which I'm going to bring here. This is from the Binance. Okay, so let me see if I can bring the chart here. The charts on Binance are a little bit more complicated. Yeah, I can't really. All right, just so you know, Binance the entry was around 7,500. I'm sorry, 7.5, and we hit the origin. If you put these lines in your chart, you'll see the level that I'm talking about. It's origin of the move, of the big move on Binance. Alright, so I'm going to take this one out here because for some reason it just does not allow me to show. Let me see if I can reduce the chart for everybody to able to see it. Maybe if I can get it in. Give me 1 second. Please bear with me for a second. Alright, yeah, I'm going to be able to do it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, but these charts are just it just doesn't let me. Um, all right, I'm just gonna do it in here. It all right. I'm just gonna do it in here. So let me put the lines back in there. Okay, let me put the next one. All right, this is the origin of the move, and that was my trade on Binance from last week. So it is working. It is working very nicely right now. I'm just gonna let this one run. Okay, got my first target at 1250. So my first target on this one is 1250. My second target is 1750. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for on Binance BNB. You can only trade that one on Binance on the Binance exchange. All right. So I just wanted to get that one shown. It was a beautiful trade. So those three were trades from last week, and the three of them are working very nicely. And you already saw the Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin setups. So I hope everybody has a great day, and hopefully you'll have enjoyed this video. If you want to get more information on our courses, please go to cryptostudio.io. Have a great Valentine's Day. Bye bye.